Well, it was an undertaking because I was only 28 years old. So I was the youngest vice president in Taft Broadcasting Company, which owned the park, and I was the youngest general manager in the industry. Few in my age range, but I was the youngest because it was a new industry, and we were all young people when we were coming up, and that's who you hired, the guys who had and gals who had been in the parks. So my job was a generalist, and still is. I sat at a big console, I say, and I adjusted knobs, and I get marketing in shape, and then finance would go out, and you get operations in shape, and then maintenance would go out, and you try to get all the crosshairs going like this, and every once in a while lock in, and when you did that, you had a good operation. So that's what I always did. I was sitting at the console, always adjusting the knobs, trying to get everything to work simultaneously, and we did a lot. I mean, it was and is a successful park, but at 28 years old, most of the people who worked there and reported to me were 10, 15 years older than I was. But we all got along well. We had a good relationship. We had great esprit de corps, and it was just a lot of responsibility. It was the second most expensive park that had been built behind Disney World at that time. So a lot of responsibility came with that. And I like to think that I handled it well during the early years. We had a lot of fun, and I've always said, we're in a business where if you can't have fun, how can you sell fun? So we always tried to keep things new and energetic, and that continues on to this day. It was very entrepreneurial back then, unlike today. Big corporations run the parks today, and by the time it gets down to the general manager, for most parts, not totally, decisions have already been made. The buck stopped here at that point in time. And so I was making decisions. Move the bridge, plant the tree, let's paint that a different color, let's move an entrance over here. And it was daunting because we never stopped, and we worked 15, 18 hours a day for several years, getting it ready, trying to be on budget and on time. So a lot of decisions had to be made. I always said it was like being the mayor of a city. You had your own fire, police, food, sanitation, electric. You had all these retail. You had all of these elements that you had to get to come together and work together in unison in order to be able to entertain 30, 40,000 people a day when you opened. So it was quite an experience. I look back on it now and I go, how in the world did you do that? I had a good team. We were all young. It's a young person's business. It takes a lot of vim and vigor and excitement and new ideas. So I knew it would change. I knew it had to change, and I was always excited to see what the newest and latest and greatest, highest, fastest would be. And again, that's what our industry is all about, and that's how we keep growing and evolving